The older I get, the more Christmas feels different. Not bad, just heavier. The noise has grown, the lists have grown, the pressure has grown, and sometimes I catch myself wishing I could slip back into the simple Christmases from years ago. Those early ones didn't feel rushed, they didn't feel pushed, they didn't feel like something I had to organize. They just happened. They showed up on their own, I woke up, looked around, and everything felt warm. That was enough. I didn't see the shift coming. Christmas changed while I wasn't paying attention. As a kid, I only saw the good parts. I saw lights on houses, I saw presents I didn't ask for, I saw people laughing in rooms that usually stayed quiet. I didn't see the planning that made all of that possible. I didn't see the tired eyes in the kitchen, I didn't see adults trying to stretch energy they didn't have. I only saw the result. Christmas now asks for so much more. It asks for money I don't always want to spend, it asks for time I don't always have, it asks for effort that sometimes feels too high. I try to match what I grew up with, but the older I get, the more I realize how hard the adults worked to make those old days feel easy. Those simple Christmases weren't fancy, the tree never looked perfect, the gifts didn't come from high-end stores, decorations were random pieces collected over the years, everything felt casual, nobody really tried to impress anyone. The goal was to be together even if the day looked messy on the surface. What I remember most is the slower pace. Life paused for a bit. Nobody rushed to the door, nobody stared at a clock, nobody expected anything complicated. Small moments felt big because everyone stayed present. No one fought for attention, no one chased productivity. They sat, talked, laughed, rested. That alone made the season feel safe. I missed that part the most, the safety. The steady feeling, that quiet weight that told you everything was fine. Somewhere along the way, Christmas started carrying expectations. I don't know exactly when it changed. It might have been the first time I bought gifts with my own paycheck many years ago. It might have been the first holiday where someone important was missing. It might have been the first time I felt the pressure to host or coordinate something. The season didn't feel light anymore. I started thinking about schedules. I started worrying about whether the gifts I bought were good enough. I started paying attention to how people reacted. I tried to do Christmas correctly, whatever that even means. The simple version never cared about correctness. It never cared about picture-perfect moments. It didn't care about matching blankets or themes or expensive meals. We showed up with whatever we had and made the day work. Growing up has a way of stealing ease. Not on purpose, it just happens. Life piles up and asks for more attention. December loses some of its softness when everything around it keeps pulling at you. You start juggling tasks that once belonged to other people. You try to keep up, but a small part of you misses the days when you didn't have to hold so much. It's not just the responsibilities, of course, it's also the people who aren't here anymore. Simple Christmases held faces that time eventually took away. It held voices that filled the room without effort. It held people who shaped the rhythm of the day. Losing them changes the season. You feel it in the quiet moments. You feel it in the pauses where they used to speak. You feel it when a tradition ends because the person who kept it going isn't here to lead it anymore. You can't recreate moments like that. You can decorate the same way, you can cook the same meal, you can play the same music. Something still feels different because the space doesn't hold the same lives anymore. But I also miss who I was back then. Not because I was better or wiser, I was just lighter. I wasn't thinking about tomorrow, I wasn't worried about outcomes, I didn't measure the season by productivity, I didn't wonder if I had done enough for the people around me, I didn't question the value of the day, I took it as it came. The older I get, the more I understand how precious that mindset is. Not because it was perfect, but because it had room to breathe. Simple Christmases had space. Space for mistakes, space for slow mornings, space for games that took too long, space for random conversations that didn't go anywhere, space to sit and do nothing without guilt. That kind of space is harder to find nowadays. Life feels more crowded, even quiet days feel full because my mind doesn't rest the way it used to. Still, I keep trying to find that older feeling in the middle of everything. I look for small moments that hold the same weight, a single light that reminds me of childhood, drives, a cup of cocoa that brings back an old taste, a familiar movie that repeats the same lines I've heard since I was young, a room with people who don't need me to perform. Those pieces don't rebuild the past, but they help soften the present. They remind me that Christmas never needed to be complex, it only needed connection, not a group of 3 things. Just one simple thing. Time shared with the people who care. I'm learning that I don't need to chase some perfect picture. I don't need to produce a holiday that looks impressive online. I don't need to fill every moment with activity. I can say no to certain gatherings. I can pick smaller gifts. I can choose simple meals. I can build Christmas around peace instead of performance. Some adults fight to keep every old tradition alive. Others throw everything out and start fresh. I'm somewhere in the middle. I want the heart of the old days without trying to copy them word for word. I want slow hours. I want honest company. I want space to breathe again. The older I get, the more I understand that simple Christmas felt simple because people approached it with open hands. They didn't force anything, they didn't expect perfection from anyone. They took the day as it came and gave whatever they had. Maybe that's the lesson I've been missing. Christmas can feel gentle again if I stop pushing it. I don't need to control everything. I don't need to manufacture the same feeling from when I was 8. I can create a new kind of calm. It won't match the past, but it can still feel good. The nostalgia will always be there. The ache will always be real, but the season doesn't have to feel heavy forever. I can set down some of the weight. I can let Christmas be small again, not childish, just small. The way a quiet moment is small. The way a single laugh is small. The way sitting beside someone you love is small. Christmas doesn't need to be loud to matter. It doesn't need to stretch across every hour of the day. It doesn't need to check every single box I used to think mattered. It only needs enough space for people to connect without pressure. I miss the simple Christmases, I always will, but missing them doesn't mean I can't build new ones. Not perfect ones, not flawless ones, just ones with room for peace. Because peace was the real gift when I was young, and peace is still the thing my heart looks for now. If this hits something in you, pass it to someone who might feel the same way. And if you want to stick around for more stuff like this, a follow would mean a lot.